Hello and welcome to today's session. In today's session, I will discuss the remaining stages or phases of social casework practice. In my previous sessions, I have discussed about four stages of social casework, and these four stages of social casework are intake, study, treatment, and diagnosis. Intake is the initial phase. At that time, client is to come to the agency or the worker is to meet the client and to bring him or her to the agency, or client may be referred by someone else to the agency to receive help, to receive support from the agency to solve his or her problems. Then the next stage I discussed about study. When you are able to build rapport with the client, that time you will try to gather lots of information about client, about his or her problem, then when the problem started. So for that, what you can do, you can have interviews with your client. Then you can visit the client house and do indirect interview with his or her family members. Then you can collect information through collateral contacts, which may be friends, which may be mm, teachers, employees, neighbors, shopkeepers. So from various sources you will collect information in study phase. Then the next stage is diagnosis. So diagnosis is very important. Without the proper diagnosis, you are not able to carry out the remaining task for your client. So this diagnosis is very important from social work point of view to diagnose the actual problem, and for that you you will refer the study phase very much, and from that study phase you will be able to understand, and with your knowledge you will be able to diagnose the actual problem of the client. Then treatment. After diagnosis, what you need to give, you are expected to deliver some support. So treatment may be in the form of counseling, motivation, guidance. So you will generate that help to the client, by which client will receive something from you, and client will try to impose in his or her life to improve his or her conditions. Today, I will discuss about the other three stages of social casework practice. So, after treatment, evaluation comes. Evaluation means ascertaining something and determination the merits and demerits of a program, assessing the achievement of a program. Evaluation means periodical assessment of the appropriateness of services provided under social casework services, and to continue or terminate them as appropriate accordingly. Evaluation is concerned with the progress of the project in meeting principal objectives. Evaluation is knowing about what is not known and above what is worth working. Objectives of evaluation: to provide an objective, systematic, and comprehensive assessment of the degree to which the program achieved. Concerned with bringing all around improvements, aims at comparing the assessment of performance of the clients in achieving the total objectives, to highlight the reasons for variations, if any. Types of evaluation: formative evaluation, which is known as early evaluation, which tries to reduce problems and suggest modifications during the period of program period to its actual implementation. Interim evaluation, which is known as ongoing evaluation. While working, you will evaluate each day's work. Then summative evaluation, which is also known as summary evaluation, which tries to see overall effects for purpose of future program planning. Methods and techniques of evaluation. One is first hand information, which deals about progress, performance, problem areas, etc. of a program from the project, field staff, and other specialties. Then periodic reports, in both formal or informal. This could be carried out through the medium of formal or informal periodic reports. Then graphical representation. This could be done through charts, graphs, pictures, illustration. And standing evaluation review committee, which may consist of host experts and specialists. The problems which require urgent attention can be identified. Alternative opportunities can be explored and remedial measures can be suggested. So evaluation after treatment, it is very important to see that either treatment worked well or there is some lacking, and for that you need to evaluate. So how will evaluate? You may go back to see all the reports, or you may refer the ongoing reports what you have prepared, or you may see that either anything required for future progress of the client or not. So in that way you need to do evaluation, and after evaluation what you are expected to do, you are expected to do some follow up, and follow up is next stage. Follow up can be done after evaluation phase to till termination phase. During follow up, the client is helped to discuss the problem he faces in maintaining the improvement. Work is done with the people significant for his improved social functioning. If required, he is referred to the proper source for needed services and help. The follow-up should be planned on a diminishing basis. After 2 weeks, then a month, then 3 months, 6 months, and a year following the termination of the formal program. Follow-up can be done through telephonic conversation, through messages, through emails, and through home visit. See, follow-up is very important. So when you evaluate the thing, then thereafter you will start following. So how will follow up? You will follow up maybe with the help of telephone. You will do phone calls to your client. Then you can send messages. Then you can email the client about his or her situation, that he or she adjusted or not. And sometimes you may conduct home visit to see that client's problem has settled or not. So that's why follow up is very important, and you will record the follow up report also, know what is happening, so any intervention is required or not, or client has adjusted with his or her own situation or not. So that's why follow up is very very important. And after follow up, at last you will terminate the case. So termination means the ending of contacts between a worker and the client. Termination is the last phase of the casework process, when the emphasis on is on disengagement, stabilization of change, and evaluation. The reactions of a client during termination may fall within 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So here client may react. Okay, so client may deny, no, no, no. We are supposed to not finish this process because I'm bit scared about my situation. If anything happens wrong again, so in that way, client may deny. Then sometimes client may generate anxiety, anger. No, how come? So client used to be burst out. No, 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 no. You are not expected to leave me in this situation. So, because of his or her emotion, client may show his or her anxiety to you. Then client may also bargain. No, no, please, please, can you carry out for another few days? Please, please, please. In that way. Then depression. Sometimes client is to be very depressed, not very sad, because the casework process is going to be end now, and that's why client may be very sad. Sometimes client may cry also. Then at last acceptance. Then uh, you need to give uh, information, you need to motivate the client, and here if required you can counsel the client, and at last client will accept, okay, yeah, we should not carry out, and happily client will accept, okay. And if in the days if problem appears again, then I'll again come to the institute. In that way client will accept. The worker should discuss the original as well as revise goals and objectives achievements during the helping period. Factors helpful and or obstructive in achieving the objectives and the efforts needed to maintain the level of achievement, and the feelings aroused by disengagement. That is, it is neither wise nor necessary for the termination to be an abrupt one. It is best to discuss termination and its ramifications or implications several times before the final interview. The frequency and amount of contacts should be gradually decreased. Termination of the helping process brings up in both the caseworker and the client's many feelings, both positive and negative, which must be verbalized and discussed. So that's all about termination. Termination is the ending phase. Thereafter, nothing remains with the client. So overall, what we have learned? We have learned 7 stages of social casework practice. What are the 7 stages? First is intake, means initial contact of the client to the agency, and it's a process of rapport building with the client. Then the next phase is study phase. Study phase means you will collect information from various sources, from client, families, peer groups. Then the third stage is diagnosis. After collecting all this information from study phase, and with the application of your knowledge, you will diagnose the actual problem of the client. Then the next stage, fourth stage, is treatment. Here you will try to give some sorts of treatment, some sorts of therapies, and then you will apply problem solving method, problem solving approach um, to reduce the client's problem, and for that you can give counseling also. Then the next stage is evaluation. After treatment you will evaluate the whole process, that either anything lacking or not. If it is lacking, then you will plan it accordingly, and you can refer the reports whatever you have generated on day-to-day work with the client. So that is evaluation. So evaluation will help you that if any treatment is required or not. If any treatment is required, then you can again uh, give counseling, or you can plan for some other treatment options. Then sometimes you can also evaluate that, okay, this problem is not going to be solved here, so that time you can refer the client to receive others help. So you can refer to other agency or other social worker, social case worker. Then after evaluation, you will do continuous follow up with the client. What is happening? So maybe once in a month, or maybe in a week, or maybe twice in a month, you will do for contacts, maybe phone calls, home visits, messages you can use. And then last is termination. You will end the process, and client may not be happy, but at last you need to convince the client that this need to be ended. With that note, I will conclude here.